Happy birthday, Rotary Club of Georgetown, Texas. It's my distinguished honor to serve as club president for this terrific club and amazing community. And I now invite Ron Swain to deliver our invocation. Ron?
Thank you, Kat. One of my favorite passages of scripture comes from the book of Psalms, the 133rd chapter, which begins, "Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to come together in unity." Let us pray. Gracious God, Rotary is a humanitarian organization with peace as our cornerstone. We believe that when people work to create peace in their communities, that change can have a global effect. Our commitment to building peace answers the new challenges that we face. How can we make the greatest possible impact? And how can we achieve our vision of lasting change? We approach the concept of peace with greater cohesion and inclusivity, broadening the scope of what we mean by peace building and finding more ways to get involved. Rotary creates environments where peace can happen. And may peace begin with me. Amen.
Please post the colors.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Color guard reform. Color guard, about face. Color guard, return to post.
Please welcome past President Tim Harris for a special presentation.
Thank you. I hate to make y'all say the Pledge of Allegiance again, but as Gene Davenport said, the first president of our club was Sam Brady, and Sam Brady was a very patriotic man, and so I'd kind of like to do the Pledge of Allegiance the way he did it. Please face the flag. Stand straight and tall, puff out your chest, put your hand over your heart, and proudly say with me the Pledge of Allegiance to our great country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
All right, and Georgianne has our milestones. It is customary in our club, it's a club tradition. If you would please hold your drink in your right hand while Georgianne reads the milestones. Thank you.
So milestones are a weekly tradition. In Rotary, we are in relationship with Rotarians and those we serve all around the world. And so it's important to celebrate one another. So today we are celebrating Larry Baird, who has a birthday on October 27th. Brian and Gina Derringer, who are celebrating their 29th anniversary on October 23rd. And Brad Curley, who is celebrating 19 years as a Rotarian, and of course, the Rotary Club of Georgetown celebrating 60 years. Salute.
Okay, please be seated. I was asked to deliver a few opening remarks, and in true President Cat style, I said, are there any bullet points that you would like me to hit? And the committee then came back and said, you won't stick to it if we give it to you, so just do what you do best. And I appreciate their accepting of my skills to just stand here and profess my love for this club. I would first like you all to please smile at the person to your left and right and across from you. This is a special day. It is a day where Rotary has once again filled the McKinney Center. It is a day where there is cake. It is let there be cake. It is also a day to celebrate the vibrancy and beautiful community that we're so humbled and blessed to serve in. And I welcome each and every one of you to what I consider the best Rotary Club in the world here in Georgetown, Texas. So with that, let's kick off this party. Over the course of the afternoon, we're going to be celebrating highlights and milestones that have transcended the last 10 years, as well as I ask you to please join me in checking out the presentations to my left, your right. There is a wonderful timeline of all of our past presidents of this club. There's beautiful pictures showing it, and then a special tribute to Nelson's life as a Rotarian at the back. So please do make a moment to pause and honor there. I would be remiss if I didn't also, we're going to do this twice today, but I would also like to thank the tireless work that the committee has put together, all this work. So if you would please give me a round of applause for the committee. So with that, I have a co-MC today, which is very exciting for me, a partner in crime. It is my esteemed privilege to introduce Dr. Gene Davenport as a retired public school teacher who has been a Rotarian since 1981. He became an active member of this club right here in 1997 and then an honorary member in 2015 when he and his wife Janet moved to Denton County to support their family. He is currently a member of the Racial Unity and Peace Building Committee. Gene was president of our club in 2001 to 2002 and governor of District 5870 from 2004 to 2005. He and Janet continue to maintain their home in the Jonah area, the fact that keeps them connected to life in Williamson County. Gene, if you would please join me, I would be most honored. Thank you. There you go.
Thank you, Kat. Gosh, what a great day to be in Georgetown, Texas. I had the honor of, as you saw in the video, of being the club president when we celebrated the 40th year of this club. And then I had the privilege of being on the planning committee when we did the 50th. And here I am again at the 60th. Don, I've already put on my calendar the next 10 years. It'll be 2000, that'll be the 70th year, but we might just roll that forward another 5 and have a grand celebration 15 years from now on our 75th. If you would all put that on your calendars, we'll plan to be back and do that. It's my privilege to do introductions. And because of the size of the crowd, we'll dispense with some of the protocol that we typically would use and not give each of you an opportunity to introduce yourself. But I'll generalize and introduce you in some groupings. We are blessed in this club to have a very positive relationship with our district. We have district leaders who have supported us, engaged with us, and actually been a part of the life of this club as long as I can remember. So in our midst today, we have assistant governors, past governors, governors-elect, governors nominee. We have people who assist us with foundation, membership, etc. If you're here representing the district in partnership with us, would you please stand and let us recognize you at this time? great humanitarians, good people all. We probably have some Rotarians in our midst who belong to other clubs who don't fit the category that I just described. So if you are a visiting Rotarian from another club, would you please stand and let us recognize you? One of the joys of Rotary is being able to make up by going to other exciting clubs when good things are happening. And a lot of times good things are happening in this club, so this is a good club to make up in. If you are a spouse or a friend who does not fit in any of the other categories that I've described thus far, and you're a guest here enjoying this day, would you please stand and let us recognize you? Guests are always welcome at our table. And then one group that's an inside group that we would like to recognize since we're celebrating, and just by chance, all of you may not go by and look at that beautiful chart over there at the end of the hall here. If you are a past president of this club, would you please stand and let us recognize you? It just seems like the pipeline of leadership in this club just keeps on getting better. I'm aware that there are clubs that struggle with leadership. This happens to be a club that doesn't struggle with it. Sometimes our challenge is keeping it under control and keeping it within the fences, but we keep it moving forward. One of the truisms about this club that should be the envy of every Rotary Club in America, because I doubt that many have achieved this, is that from the inception, when this club was formed in 1962, it has been hosted by the First United Methodist Church of Georgetown. So for 60 years, we've had a place to meet. I think that deserves recognition. Now, within that, there's a very special group that we want to call attention to. There's a group of ladies who are leaders in the First United Methodist Church who, for those 60 years, have either prepared the food and served it to us or served it to us after someone else prepared it. Point is that for 60 years, we have been served by this group, very special group of ladies. At this point, I would like to call forward three people, and our president has a special presentation to make to them. Nell Benold, would you come forward? Janine Fairburn, and Pastor Alan McGrath. If you'd come right here. This group is very Rotarian. They look at that blue dress. They serve the needs of others. They have served our needs. They also support a group here at this church called the Learning Tree, which is a special program for young people. And this is their call, this is their mission, and our president has a special presentation to make at this time.
It is remiss if I wouldn't say that one of the things I fell most in love with when I joined this club was lunch. But what made it special were the beautiful smiles that greeted me every Friday. And if I missed, wanted to know where I was. And they were glad to see I was back. And your smiles welcomed me in my early Rotarian years, and I appreciate that. Our club is honored to award you ladies the opportunity to share with the Learning Tree a full-year scholarship for a recipient of your choice to your preschool. And we are happy to present you a check for $4,886.
She has a lot of stories to tell, so. I believe you're right. We believe that Nell was at the first club meeting helping serve food 60 years ago. Is that correct? I bet she does have some stories to tell. This club was founded 40 years ago. 60. I'm knocked off. I'm back in 2002. 60 years ago. But at the time we celebrated our 40th, the Rotary Club of Taylor was celebrating their 40th. They just celebrated their 100th. We have a representative, they sponsored us. We have a representative of that club here today, Tia Stone, who's the president, who wants to bring remarks and tell a little bit about the history of our two clubs. Tia, would you come forward? Thank you.
Thank you, and I am delighted today to bring you greetings from the Rotary Club of Taylor, Texas. This Georgetown Rotary Club was chartered February 28, 1962. Taylor is so proud to have been the sponsoring club under the leadership then of our club president, Dr. Hudson Jones, who was a veterinarian. And it just so happens that the district governor at the time was Mr. I.H. Shepard, a chiropractor and also a member of the Taylor Rotary Club. I want you to know how proud we are to be part of your history. Because we wanted to tout your achievement far and wide, I took the opportunity to reach out, and I'm happy to bring with me today recognition from Representative John Carter's office and a flag that has flown over the U.S. Capitol in this your 60th year. It says, congratulations to the Rotary Club of Georgetown on celebrating 60 years of service to others, promoting integrity, and advancing the world understanding, goodwill, and peace. May you continue to be a shining example of selfless service to others, and in the words of Paul Harris, whatever Rotary means to us, to the world, it will be known by the results it achieves. From Congressman John Carter. I hope to also be bringing you later one from the from the Texas House, but I have not been able to make that connection yet. But both of those offices asked me to thank you and congratulate you on 60 years of service above self. The Taylor Rotary Club sends you its gratitude for the 60 years of work this club has done for your community and the world. And we are so proud to stand beside you in faithful service for the next 60 years. Thank you.
That's one of those wow moments. Thanks, thanks, thanks. My next opportunity is to present our current district governor, Shannon Coleman. And before I introduce her, I'd like to make a couple of comments. She has done something rather unique this year that just reinforces what Rotary is all about. Some of you in the room will recall that when she did her annual club visit, Following that visit, we packaged, I think, 800 packages of food to be delivered to people in need. That's a novel idea, and I loved it. I've asked her to give us an update of how many packages have been done throughout. At any rate, we enjoy a great relationship with our district leadership, and we've asked Shannon to come forward and share her thoughts. Shannon.
Thank you, Gene. Thank you. I thought he was going to take everything I was going to say. Well, you know, this truly is kind of like coming home, because I was assistant governor for this club for 3 years. You're one of my clubs, and so it is. It's like coming home. It feels like family, because you are family. What a party. 60 years. This is awesome. You all know how to throw a great party. And it's amazing to see we have Rotarians from throughout our district, you know, coming in for this celebration. So congratulations. You know, Gene was just saying we did the district-wide project here, and who all was here for that? Yeah, a number of hands. Well, that day we packed, you're a big group, so we came prepared for packing a lot of bags. But what we found is also sometimes that can get a little bit bogged down, and we realized we brought 800 to do 800 bags, but we're not going to finish in time. And I went to your president, Kat, and said, we're not going to finish in time. And she said, we're going. We're not stopping. And you did that. You packed 800 bags that day. We are now at over 6,100. I'm almost finished with all of the visits, and we'll end up at 65, at least 6,500 bags packed that go to children who suffer from weekend hunger. There are still children. There are still children in our district that go home on the weekends and have no food. So thank you. I want to congratulate you for doing such a great job. Thank you for all you're doing. You are known in Georgetown and beyond for the service that you do. You know, the Jennifer Jones has asked us this year to imagine a world that deserves our best, where we get up each and every day knowing that we can make a difference. You're making a difference. You do your projects and partnerships over the years are incredible. I'll be at your Field of Honor celebration coming up in a couple of weeks. And, you know, building ramps. You all build ramps, and I think you still do that monthly, don't you? So it's just your service and your dedication is heartwarming. Your Racial Unity Committee, which now I love seeing the Peace Poll here, because now the Rotary Club of Georgetown is now officially recognized as a peace-building club, and it's the first in Central Texas. So I just want to say thank you for your continued support of your community. Thank you for your continued support of our district. And thank you for your continued support of the Rotary Foundation, in which you are one of our biggest givers in this district. Thank you for the difference you are making here and throughout our world. And so, now what we've been waiting for, I get to present to your President, Kat, a certificate of recognition for 50. See, now you have me doing it. For 60 years of service to the Rotary Club of Georgetown. So I think I'm going to come over here.
The next person I'm to introduce I have not met at this point, so I can't say anything about her, but I would like to make a comment about who she represents, the Chamber of Commerce. We've always had a positive, lively support and involvement with the Chamber. I can still remember 10 years ago, Bob Brent and Ron Swain, and probably others were on a major task force visioning the new Georgetown. I don't remember the name of it, Ron, but I remember it was a big deal, and we were asked to be a part of that process. And I'm making an assumption that it had impact on the status of Georgetown today. Point being, we have a good relationship with the community leaders of Georgetown. So I would like to invite Chantel Mays, the president, to come forward and make comments.
All right. Also, we have a ton of events at the Chamber, so next time you're coming on me, and that way you can never say that again. We have now officially met. So congratulations on 60 years of service above self. I am honored to be here today to celebrate this milestone with you. 60 years of service spans many generations, and it is absolutely remarkable the lasting impact you guys have had on our community and will continue to have on our community. The Chamber recognizes that impact that you have on our community, and I am honored today on behalf of our board to read you a resolution that they have put together acknowledging this 60th anniversary. So, resolution recognizing the 60th anniversary of the Rotary Club of Georgetown. Whereas the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce is a network of businesses and professionals dedicated to the promotion of member businesses and responsible economic development, and whereas we honor Georgetown's unique history and special quality of life, and whereas the Rotary Club of Georgetown is celebrating 60 years of service to the community, and whereas the Rotary Club of Georgetown provides a weekly opportunity for fellowship and service-oriented interaction for a variety of business leaders and professionals in Georgetown, promotes a lifestyle of integrity for members in their personal and professional life using the four-way test, maintains a youth focus recognizing academic scholars, outstanding teachers, and providing college scholarships, supports other humanitarian groups in Georgetown, partners with the Service Club Coalition and the Williamson Museum to assist in making Chisholm Trail Days a significant event in Georgetown, supports youth leadership development through Interact clubs at local high schools, Rotaract at Southwestern University, and RILA, a youth leadership camp, and seeks to provide a humanitarian service as needed in Georgetown and throughout the world using the motto, service above self. Therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Directors of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce hereby recognize Rotary Club of Georgetown on the attainment of this historic milestone and presents this resolution in honor thereof on this 21st day of October 2022. And while we are here to celebrate the 60 years you've had, I also want to point out that we at the Chamber are excited about the next 60 years that you're going to continue providing that service above self and making that lasting impact on our community. We are truly grateful to have you here and to be able to be a part of this celebration today. So thank you.
I don't know about you, but I'm having some wow moments. This is good stuff. And that's what we're all about as Rotarians. We pride ourselves in building partnerships in our communities throughout the world, and we are networked just at the deluxe level here in Georgetown. Our mayor, Josh Schrader, is one that we let get away. When I moved from this club a few years ago, Josh was a member of this club, an active member of this club. I leaned over and asked him a while ago if he was still a member of the club, and he said, "No, I'm now the mayor." So, and I knew that, but Josh is now serving us well. And Josh, would you come forward and bring remarks from the city? Thank you for being here.
I had a chance to speak a few weeks ago here at this club, and I told the group, and I'll tell you again, I do hold the distinction of having the red badge for the longest of any person, maybe in any club ever. I think it was 3 years, and if Rotary could give an award for poorest performing Rotarian, I think it would have won it. But Rotary runs in my family. My dad was a member of that club in Taylor that helped found this. And when I got to Georgetown and joined Rotary, he told me, oh, that's really great. It's a great club. He's like, of course, I had to leave the club in Taylor. And I was like, you quit? And he's like, no. He was the football coach over in Taylor, and the Rotary Club met on Monday. And he said, so for about the first 3 years, the program was him standing up and having to answer for every dumb play he'd called on Friday night. And so he said that the president of the club came to him one day and said, Coach, you got to stop coming. We got to get some actual work done in this club, and we can't just talk about football. So I know nothing like that would ever happen in this club, because when I look around this room, I see the foundation of this community, the leaders that have come out of this club, that are in this room now, those that have passed that were in this room over the last 60 years. Georgetown would not be what it is today but for this Rotary Club. And thank you for all that you have done for this community. And I can't tell you how blessed we are to be living in Georgetown, Texas, and how blessed we are to have the Rotary Club. So I have a proclamation on behalf of myself and Mr. Garland, who's a member of this club and also a member of our city council. Whereas the Rotary International was founded in 1905 and the Rotary Club of Georgetown was chartered on February 28, 1962, and through its motto, service above self, Rotary strives to be a model for all citizens. And whereas the Georgetown Rotary Club's projects include an emphasis on youth through academic and vocational scholarships, as well as leadership training, donating books to local libraries, and forming Interact and Rotaract service clubs in the GISD and Southwestern University communities. And whereas other projects include support of many local nonprofit organizations, ramp builds, water projects, and other service projects. And whereas the Georgetown Rotary Club helps to bring recognition to Georgetown, Texas through the Field of Honor and partnership arrangements with other Rotary clubs throughout Central Texas and around the world, and is recognized internationally as a Rotary Peace Building Club. And whereas the Rotary Club actively encourages good citizenship through the promotion of an integrity-based creed, the Rotary Four-Way Test, and through participation of its members in various community events and service projects, now therefore I, Josh Schrader, Mayor of the City of Georgetown, Texas, do hereby proclaim October 21st, 2022 to be Georgetown Rotary Club Day in honor of its 60th anniversary. Thank you all.
Mayor Schrader, if you would remain in the front. I asked for and received consent from the committee to make a very special presentation to our mayor. He was in our club, and along the way to becoming mayor, he's been serving on as many as 15 or 16 different boards in our community. He chose Rotary as one of those stops along the way to prepare him for service. And it was about 3 months ago in this very room that Josh Schrader made he kind of said, I was the longest tenured red badge you ever saw. I never got my blue badge. I heard that day, and knowing that Josh was going to come back as our mayor and spend a moment with us in a proclamation, I thought it appropriate that we present him with a red badge, Rotary International, Josh Schrader. Now, I'm beginning to sense from the audience that he may think about coming back to us. Josh? He said he probably still has the other red badge in his car.
All good stuff, good stuff. I've not met Melinda Brasher, who's representing the school district, as I haven't met all of the speakers, but because she's representing the school district, if I started naming the things that we do in this club to support the public schools, the list would go on and we would not have time to finish our program. We are a prize partner, or I should say the school district is one of our prize partners because we have a vision for the youth of our community. And that speaks to my heart as a retired educator and place great value on that. Melinda, would you come forward and represent the school district to this group? Thank you.
I don't have anything fancy to share today. I simply just want to say thank you. I serve as the Executive Director for Communications for Georgetown ISD, and I can tell you that great things are happening in our schools every day, and part of the contribution to that are the people sitting in this room. From the service projects, to the character development, to the peace polls, which, by the way, we have 11 peace polls, right? 11 peace polls, Kat, that we're putting up in our school district because of your support and your support of unity and peace in our community, which we desperately need right now. I just want to say thank you and congratulations for your partnership and all you do to serve our community.
Once again, I do not know the person that I'm about to introduce. You know, it was like a feeding frenzy here the hour before we got started. I mean, there was a lot of cross-pollination going on here, and a lot of fellowship, Rotary fellowship, building the base for what we do. But I have a sense that this person is very bright. First of all, she's scholarly and heading up a major institution here in our community. But I just learned that she employed one of our own, Ron Swain, as the chaplain at Southwestern University. That was my chance to give you an encore, and you weren't even in the room. The president asked you to come give remarks instead of, no, it's not true. Laura Scandra Trombley, president of the University of Southwestern. Would you please come forward?
It's a pleasure to be here, and having joined Rotary in 1997, it has been a real joy in my life, and it has also been an organization that does so much good for so many people in so many of the different projects that Rotary has taken on, including really a project that has changed the world for the better, the polio drive. And so, yes, I did just hire Ron Swain because I want to add youth to the administration at Southwestern University. Well, Southwestern University is a little bit older than our Rotary Club. We were founded in 1840 and moved to Georgetown in 1872. We have been, without question, a close partner with Rotary since its arrival. And indeed, many of our alumni, as well as staff and presidents, have been members of the Georgetown Rotary. And for that, you have our thanks and enormous gratitude. And so on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I would like to read this proclamation. Whereas, there will be many whereases, just warning. Durwood Fleming, a member of the Rotary Club in Houston, helped to start the Rotary Club in Georgetown after he became the 12th president of Southwestern in 1962. And whereas, the Rotary Club of Georgetown was chartered on February 28, 1962, by local business leaders and Southwestern University faculty members, And whereas, over the years, Southwestern faculty and staff have been members of the club, including former Career Services Director Roger Young, who was instrumental in starting the Rotaract Club for students at Southwestern University. And whereas the Rotary International motto of service above self echoes Southwestern's core purpose to foster a community whose values and actions encourage contributions toward the well-being of humanity, and whereas the Southwestern University and all of its faculty, staff, and students and alumni are deeply grateful for the Rotary Club of Georgetown's 60 years of service, and we all thank the club and all of you, the Rotarians, for your role in building a strong partnership with the university. Now, therefore, I do proclaim October 21st, 2022, officially the Rotary Club of Georgetown's 60th Anniversary Day and celebration at Southwestern University. Thank you.
In the late 90s, a special event took place, a special occasion took place, and several of us went to Mexico as a part of the district and by-district meeting to meet a new partner club in Ciudad Victoria. And I was privileged to be a part of that group, so I have fond memories of that exchange as we got started. We have a representative from that club here with us today, but he asked if I would be the memory and share so he can come up and thank us for our partnership. So I'll test my memory a little bit, and I've tested it with Jim here as well. Jim was also on that trip. But we planted some seeds at that time that we hoped would grow. And one of the things we agreed on was that rather than have a partnership where we were constantly funneling projects toward Mexico, that they would also engage and support us here with projects. And that idea stuck. And those of you who've been in the club for a while will know that we've had numerous projects with our Mexican friends, both in Mexico and both here. The dynamics of the first trip there to support a project were kind of interesting because we didn't have any money. Today, I think we have more money than we had then, but we wanted to support a project that they had there in a civil hospital where they needed to redo the surgical rooms. And so past District Governor Bill Bryce came up with the idea of a group going and paying for the experience. We went and had a 3-day weekend experience, and we paid like $250 or $300, but we were home hosted, stayed in the homes. They treated us like royalty, toured us. We even went up to El Cielo, up into the mountains, and just had a grand experience. But in the process, built a solid foundation of relationships, and that has lasted. And that first project, we got funded. They put in $10,000. We raised $10,000, got matching funds from the district into Rotary for a $40,000 project. And that was just one of many. And then the first project I recall here, we had a project for the medical clinic, which used to be just down the street here. And then we did one with a caring place. But partnership deluxe, working together for common good in both countries. So that has been a wonderful relationship, and COVID got in the way for traveling back and forth between our countries, but it may be on hold, but it's still a burning ember there waiting to open up. But anyway, we have a gentleman here who drove in today. He didn't come all the way from Mexico. He came from San Antonio, he said. But Ciro Gonzalez is with us, and his club is just celebrating their 85th year of existence. Ciro, would you come forward and make remarks? And we appreciate you making the effort to be here with us.
Hi. Well, my English is not that good. I was an exchange student like 30 years ago. I was in Hamilton, Ohio. I was a long time ago. We just want you to know, like, we are really proud working with you because we have like a lot of stuff going on in Mexico, and we can help a lot of people over there. We have a lot of back and forward projects. So it's so nice to be here, and our club just want to say congratulations for your 60th anniversary, and well, just thank you, and it's an honor to be here, and working with you guys is awesome. Thank you.
All right, so much for the recognitions. Shouldn't we be proud of what we've done and who we've related to? I was once told at one of my educational programs that successful organizations always celebrate their champions, and you celebrate your successes. And we do a good job in this club of celebrating individuals who have succeeded, but we also celebrate all of us being together in what we do. Creates some very proud moments. It's now my privilege to introduce a gentleman who's going to speak to us for a few minutes about the foundation. And Governor, you did hear me say a few minutes. We always warn past governors when they're going to get the microphone. Jerry is no stranger to this group. I almost feel guilty introducing other than just saying, here's Jerry. But I read his bio, and Jerry, I was impressed with several things. First of all, he's a graduate of the Anglican School of Theology and serves as a bivocational Episcopal priest in Austin. That in itself is commendable. I didn't know that. During his professional career, he's had positions in finance, engineering, with 2 large technology firms. He's joined Rotary with the North Shore Lake Travis Club in 2005, and has also served as a certified financial planner. Jerry's just one of those go-to guys. If you have something you need, go to Jerry. He'll figure out how to make it happen. If you've been active at all in Rotary, you've seen Jerry's name because he has done just about everything you can do at the district level. He's been a governor, he was secretary, foundation chair, fundraising chair. He's served in leadership institutes. Jerry lives Rotary and does a really good job of living it. And so it's my honor and privilege to introduce a fellow past district governor to speak to us about the foundation. Jerry, come and join us.
So good to be here. I was hoping that he wouldn't say, and here's someone else I don't know. The thing he did not highlight, in 2005, who was the district governor when I joined Rotary? Gene Davenport. When Ron asked me to speak with you today, he gave me two admonitions. No more than 10 minutes, and you've already heard Gene comment on it's hard to keep past it's the government for. And number two, make sure you challenge them. Every year, annually, the Rotary International, incoming Rotary International president picks a theme for his or her year. This is the first time I've been able to say his or her year. Jennifer Jones picked a theme that's hanging on the front of the podium here, Imagine Rotary. President Jennifer sees the possibility of a world that embraces the values and the service of Rotary. But let me take the liberty to rephrase her question or her comment for a moment. I want you to imagine the city of Georgetown, Texas, without the Rotary Club of Georgetown. We learned earlier, by the way, I sat here and started marking things off. I wish I'd heard all these presentations before I did this. Past District Governor Shepard from the Rotary Club of Taylor signed that charter document in 1962 when I was trying to figure out how to graduate from high school. And when he signed that charter document, he was planting a seed that would be nurtured and grow over time to become the center of service in this community. Your club's image, your impact is not only locally here in Georgetown and Williamson County, but goes beyond. You heard earlier that you built ramps for years to allow and facilitate those that are physically challenged. You've supported Early Act First Night programs in your school district here to encourage the building of values in our children. And just this past year, you supported a women's empowerment effort. But yes, it does reach beyond Georgetown and Williamson County. We've had a representative from the club in Mexico. There are active projects this club has going on at the moment in Guatemala. In 1917, Rotary International President Arch Klump planted a seed also. That seed would grow to become what we know as the world today as the Rotary Foundation. Arch Klump shared his vision with us and with the Rotary world. I wasn't there, I said us, but I wasn't there back in 1917. He shared the vision of going out and reaching out and doing good in the world. This past month in Minneapolis, Minnesota, several of us there for what we call the Rotary Zone Institute. We had the privilege of meeting the incoming Rotary International President, Gordon McKinney, from Scotland in his great Scottish accent. He shared with us a message about the Rotary Foundation and the way that he hoped that we would look at it and refer to it. What he said is, make sure you say it is our foundation, not the Rotary Foundation. When it's our foundation and your foundation, it becomes much more personal. And when he talked about the support of Rotarians and the Rotary Foundation, he talked about the foundation being the fuel that allows you and me and our clubs and the world to do meaningful and impactful projects and to do the outreach that Rotary is so well known for. As you look at the Rotary Club of Georgetown over the past 10 years, I looked at the data. Your DAP grants or your district grants that you earn every year have averaged about $3,500, but they're growing every year because your membership and your support of our foundation is growing with them. The all-time giving of this Rotary Club to the annual fund of Rotary, as of last Friday, is just a little bit over $704,000 in the life of this club over the past 60 years. You're fourth in the district in total giving to the polio program. I had my comments and I marked it out here, but I'm going to take all my 10 minutes, Ron. Regarding the support for polio, your support for polio has been robust, and I know the tortoise wins the race, but you're a little bit slow. Don't get Kat to have anxiety fever this year. Unfortunately and sadly, polio has reared its ugly head once again in first world countries, in New York and in other countries. It's so easy to change. Rotarians say, what are we going to do next? We must sustain our commitment to the polio program and eradicate a disease that victimizes children. Because if we fail, my grandchildren and your grandchildren and children will once again be subject to the ravages of polio. We measure your contributions to the Rotary Foundation in terms of dollars and cents. That we have to have a way to quantify it. But I really think I want you to think about your support of the Rotary Foundation and you're writing that check. Not in terms of dollars and cents, but in terms of hope. The hope that you give to the disenfranchised in this community and in the area, and to those Rotarians around the world as you support the other projects. You have changed lives and lived Arch Clump's vision to do good in the world. Today, Georgetown benefits from the legacy, and you benefit from the legacy that was passed to you from those early Rotarians since 1962. The story and the image of this club is imprinted on this community, and you've made impactful projects and the hope that you've given. But as we say in the financial world, past performance is not a guarantee of future performance. It's a disclaimer we use in the financial world when I was there. The question for you today is, what legacy will you be leaving for future generations of Georgetown Rotarians? That is in your hands to determine. Your actions now and going forward will determine the legacy that will be passed along to those future Georgetown Rotarians. You inherited a solid foundation, and I'm confident you will continue to grow and make that foundation even stronger. So my challenge to you today is to continue to embrace and live out daily in your lives and in the club activities that vision Arch Clump had. Continue to engage and do impactful projects that has defined you in the past. As Rotarians, you are the hands and feet. You are the doers of service in this community. But my challenge to you as individual Rotarians, in regard to your support for the foundation, is best embodied in the comment by T.S. Eliot. Only those who risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. Your image, your footprints are indelibly stamped on this community and the lives that you've touched. And when you look in the mirror, though, what you see, it's been your life that's been the most changed. I'm so proud to be a Rotarian. I'm proud to be associated with the Rotary Club of Georgetown. I wish you the very best as you journey forward, and I have full confidence that I won't be here and Gene won't be here in 60 years. We're pretty confident of that, right, Gene? 15 years, okay. That the footprint and the image and what you've done in Georgetown, Texas, will continue to grow and make a difference in this community into the future. I want to thank you for your time today, and Ron, I stayed under 10 minutes.
I don't know if I've smiled for as many pictures since the 1999 4-H and FFA fair, when I presented a lot of trophies to a lot of 1,300-pound show steers. But this is by far some of the most smiling that I have enjoyed in many years. So thank you and congratulations to our club. As you can see, it is my honor and privilege to also call to mind those great Rotarians over this last 10 years that we've said goodbye to. Many of those Rotarians were bright spots and good for a quick joke, but also a wonderful tribute to how we should all serve. As I read their names, I ask that we please pause in a moment, but I also ask that you think and smile on your heart, as their hard work are what we stand upon today. So if you'll please join me in Marambum. Charlie Baker, Nelson Barrett, William Bryce, Howard Burt, Virgil Carlson, O.L. Davis Jr., Biff Dottie, Gonzalo Garza, G. Goeth, John Knight, W. Ludwig, D. Wilson Manning, Gerald Parker, and Judy Shanklin. I ask that we please pause for a moment of silence in their honor. Thank you. You know, Billy Ray, I got your bio. Finally. And as you recall, Billy Ray is our, how do we say this? Billy Ray is our punt in this club. If the program doesn't show or there's a gap, Billy Ray's always good for a story, right? And he's notorious, and while I don't have an empty Coke bottle, because that is not your role today, we're very glad to have you with us. Your bio that I did find was your actor bio on your IMDb, which many of you may not know. Billy Ray was actually in a movie and has a whole actor bio and a rather snazzy judge picture complete with his neck there. So I will spare you the comments about the movie that were posted, but I'm looking forward to watching your film debut this weekend with some friends. We are blessed to have Judge Billy Ray Stubblefield as a guide and a mentor, and most importantly, a friend and a Rotarian to all of us in this community. Billy Ray, I remember the first time you gave me a hug and you welcomed me, and I was always scared to death to walk past that table on the far right. That was the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and I did not quite fit the bill, so I sat at the back corner table over there. However, that table was always quick to welcome and encourage, and you have done nothing but been a force to tell us to try harder, do better, honor the past, and what are we going to do in the next 60 years. Now, I also have to tell you that Karen and I are going to be keeping time, and she told me to tackle you if we got close to the time. But I'm not going to do that. But if you would, please, sir, help me welcome past president Billy Ray Stubblefield for our program.
Well, that's a great introduction. I have to admit the movie is possibly one of the worst movies that has been produced over the last 50 years. And however, I think I did a great job. So, you know, your money is well spent. Where did you find it? Amazon? Okay, all right. Oh, man. Yeah, well, we actually, that movie received something like 13 awards, which just shocked the dickens out of me. And we had a lot of fun making it. And I am limited, I believe, to 10 or 15 minutes, and Karen showed me her taser when she said that. And I know what tasers can do, and I don't want to run over, so I'm going to get on with it. Obviously, as we look back over 60 years, I'm not going to try to cover the whole 60 years by any means, but I do want to say a little bit that was shared with me by Nell Benold, who was there at the founding, when the earth, the dry land rose up and the waters parted. And she said that one of the big motivating factors for the creation of the Rotary Club was, in fact, Durwood Fleming, the distinguished president of Southwestern University, my alma mater, and it was because he had been a member of the Houston Rotary Club and just really missed it. And so he turned to Lorleen, his wife, and said, take care of that. And she did. You know, I love this new banner that we have with the logo, Imagine Rotary. And one of the things I have imagined is, what would it be like if we had no women in Rotary? Stuff didn't get done. And if you want things to happen, ask a woman to do it. And Karen is absolutely and I'm saying that, Karen, because I know you have the taser. And I really don't want to deal with that today. What was the other part of that story? It seemed to me, Nell, you told me something else about Rotary and how it got started. Yeah, I do. Would you want to come up here? You can use some of my time. Come on. I mean, this is real history. This is what historians call a primary source.
Well, I lay in bed last night thinking, man, I could tell them some stories. But my husband tells me I talk way too much, so I will try to make it brief. But Durwood Fleming was used to turning to the church for whenever he wanted anything. He came from St. Luke's in Houston that was rich, and they did everything for him. But he was dismayed beyond belief that there was no Rotary Club in Georgetown. And he said to his wife, Lurleen, see to it, see what you can do. Well, Georgetown had 5,000 people and one little greasy spoon cafe. And the Lions Club had already appropriated that room, and there was nowhere to meet. So there was the church, and over across the street in our fellowship hall, there was a little bitty kitchen with an oven that worked, and Lurleen rounded up about 10 of us, and we charged the Rotarians $1 a plate, and we used that money to buy groceries, and we cooked the food, and we served it, and we made money for the church. And we had a little charter that said every bit we made was to go to the fabric of our old sanctuary, because it was getting worn, and our church did not have a lot in the budget to do that. And through the years, this club, through your help with us, has supplied thousands, literally thousands of dollars to the fabric of that wonderful historic building. And it has just been a tremendous pleasure, because not only did you contribute to that, but the fellowship that we enjoyed, lots of our ladies were widows, and they got to come and have a meal that they didn't have to prepare. And they got to come and visit with other people, and we got to meet new men who were coming in, all men in those days. And I could go on and on about stories, but I won't, because Billy Ray will get me if I do. But thank you for, but and we of the church, thank you for meeting here and giving us that money. Oh, and I wanted to tell you that we have shepherded it very well. We had 2 wonderful treasurers, and they would get the money every week, put it in the bank, and then when we got enough, we would go down and buy a small CD. And then we didn't spend it because it was being frittered away for cup towels and foolish stuff. And when we got enough, we'd we'd cash that CD and get a bigger one. And we literally have given thousands of dollars to stained glass windows and organ funds and kneelers for our altar. And I could go on and on, but I won't. But thank you, Rotary Club, for meeting here and giving us the pleasure of serving you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nell. You know, Nell is a living treasure of this community, and she and her husband, Doug, they're one of the most important dynamic duos that Georgetown has had in its history. And I know a little bit about Georgetown's history, and I can speak with authority. Also, Nell is my second mama. Her first son, her eldest, is Stephen Benold, a member of our club, and he and I were just inseparable during school. He got me through chemistry, and I still don't know any chemistry, but he got me through chemistry. So I want to bring to your attention, over in that corner is a little something I put together for Nelson Barrett. And it's entitled Nelson Barrett's Life as a Rotarian. He was one of the greatest examples of a person for whom Rotary was just part of his being. He was president of the Rotary Club in Orchard Park, New York, before he came here in '86. And then 15 years later, he became the president of this club at the age that I am now. Now that, to me, is remarkable. I also got to swear him in as a lawyer in the state of Texas. He passed the Texas bar at the age of 82. I have got to speak to the people down at the state bar because No, not in that way. No, I want to know if he is the eldest individual who's ever passed the Texas bar. It's quite possible. Anyway, they're trinkets, they're bits and pieces of his life as a Rotarian, and just hang out there and take a gander at it. All right. Well, I was up here 10 years ago for the 50th. Are you getting ready to tackle me? I have not begun, and I've got a toast, and that goes on for some time. Well, quickly, I want to say that this club is dynamic. It really is, in a way that it has never been before. I think the reason our club grows when many clubs are struggling is because we do things. Larry Bingham is here. Larry, stand up for a moment, please. He is seated at the table of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and extraordinarily bald gentlemen most of the time. And he was the guy that lit a fire under us back in the 80s. He insisted on us having a fish fry. Well, our club didn't do that sort of thing. No, just let us write a check. You know, everything will be fine. We won't have to get our hands dirty. But no, he insisted on a fish fry, and we did a fish fry. We had a marvelous time, aided by the fact that there was a large keg of beer back in the kitchen where all of the deep fat fryers were, and open flames. And Bill Bryce walked up to me, former president of the club, past district governor, Bill Bryce, walked up to me and said, "Can you imagine the liability if one of those things falls over and catches fire? We burn down the community center, burn up a bunch of Rotarians, and we're all going to be jointly and severally liable." Well, that scared me to death, but I got over it. Thank you, Larry, for initiating an active club. Oh, come on. Are you sure? I've got lots of things I need to say. I want to recognize Bill Connor, but I did not see Bill.
He's here.
Bill, would you Mark, help Bill get up there? Oh my, well, he didn't need that help. I want you to know I've verified this. Bill is the longest serving member of this club.
You're going to get Don Hewitt as well, correct?
Mm-hmm. And Bill, I just thank you for hanging in there. You, of course, served as president. I think you were the president maybe the first or second year I was a member. And you've done wonderful things for this club. Don Hewlett is seated right in front of me. And Don, would you stand up and be recognized? Don's generosity it knows no bounds. And I remember as we would have our big fundraiser, he would almost, well, for years, gave a car to be auctioned off. And those were big fundraisers, and those were nice cars. I never got one, but I Say what? Well, that's true. I like to think of myself as the Jack Benny of Georgetown. Okay. Well, I have so much I'd like to say about this club, and I see the taser. It's coming out. It's going to happen. So I just want to recognize that during the last 10 years that a racial unity committee was formed. And what an unusual act for a club to get involved in that. And I'm so thankful for Ron Swain and his leadership. He got up here and was telling the story of growing up in Georgia and living in a community that was across a big field from a military establishment. And those kids would come out and play in the field. They were all white. And Ron wanted to know, why can't I go out there and play with those guys? He really wanted to get out there and mix it up with them. And as he told that story, I'm not ashamed to say that tears were rolling down my eyes. And he talked about forming a committee that would serve the purpose of racial unity. And I was one of the first to speak up and say, I want to go with you on that journey. And God bless you. I was up until 2:30 this morning, and I have so much to say, but we'll just have to save it for later. I blew a lot of it when I was the last-minute speaker a few weeks ago, and so I'm going to go to the toast. And so you all start peeling those foil tops off of the sparkly. On the 50th, we were doing this, and I foolishly thought that these were going to be corked, and it would be so neat because the corks would start flying all over this room, and they didn't have corks. But some very ingenious people had some corks in reserve, and they started throwing them anyway. Everybody got a glass? Okay. I think we're ready. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Rotarians, honored guests, please raise your glasses and join me as I offer a multifaceted toast. So take little tiny sips at the end of each toast. First, look at that. I think he's going to throw it all over the place. First, a toast to the founders who, in 1962, did not know what a vital seed they had planted. None of the founders have survived to be with us here, but representing them are guests of our founding sponsoring club, Club of Taylor. We are deeply appreciative of their presence. And so, repeat after me. To the founders.
To the founders.
I've had better. Second, a toast to our partners in service. The Caring Place, the Lone Star Circle of Care, ROC, Ride-On Center for Kids, the Georgetown Project, Brookwood in Georgetown, SU Rotaract, Georgetown Interact, our ambassadorial scholars, and recipients of the Sam Brady Award, and Nell's one of those. Who else is here who has received the Sam Brady Award?
Danny's wife did, Mindy Swafford.
Mindy Swafford. And so repeat after me. To our partners in service.
To our partners in service.
Third, a toast to our friends from Victoria, Tamaulipas, Mexico. Nuestros amigos de Ciudad Victoria, México. Ciro está aquí y el video que es hacer. Where is our videographer? Ah, there we are. This is all being videoed, by the way. If you have outstanding warrants, I suggest you. And this will be made available to the Club of Victoria. Con su ayuda y amistad fiel, hemos realizado mucho servicio a nuestras comunidades. Que nuestra amistad se aumente cada vez más, mientras servimos a la gente menos afortunada aquí y allá. Repeat after me. Salud, nuestros amigos.
Salud, nuestros amigos.
Fourth, a toast to international service. To Libraries of Love, Ken Anderson, where are you? This was Ken Anderson's signature project, I guess it was when you were president of the club, or maybe years before and after, to medical equipment and a dialysis ambulance in Nepal, to wheelchairs in Haiti, Honduras, and the Dominican Republic and Peru, to a sanitary village in Côte d'Ivoire, to fresh, clean water in the Sudan, to tsunami relief in Samoa, to mosquito nets in Africa, to school supplies in Honduras, and to aflatoxin-free grains in sub-Saharan Africa. Through Rotary International, our club has bettered the lives of hundreds, thousands, and through our 3H grant to reduce aflatoxin, millions of lives. Repeat after me, to international service.
To international service.
Fifth, a toast to another 60 years and more of Rotary in Georgetown. May we be blessed with the opportunity to serve Georgetown and our fellow human beings throughout the world, all within the context of service above self. Repeat after me, to the future of Rotary.
To the future of Rotary.
And I guess that's it.
Salud!
Salud!
Woo!
Thank you so much for being here, Cyril.
All right, well, I would now ask for you all to please rise as we conclude our meeting. I would like the club to have a special thank you to Boy Scout Troop 151 for our colors today. Scouts, please retire the colors.
Audience attention, color guard attention, color guard, forward march. Color guard halt. Ready to retrieve the colors. Retrieve the colors. Scout salute. Color guard about face. Color guard return to post. Color guard halt. 2. Scouts at ease, color guard at ease. And audience at ease.
Well, it's 4 Fridays in a row, and I'm up here, and it's after 1 o'clock. However, if any of you come up to me and tell me to be on time today, I'm going to point you to the person that we know. So, Billy, you're up. You stay by me. He gets all the heat today. Our Minute for Peace, we have had over 65 minutes of peace since we began this initiative. This is a tradition at our club, how we end it, and I'm honored to read it today. The most valuable possession you can own is an open heart. The most powerful weapon you can be is an instrument of peace. Carlos Santana. I would be remiss if I didn't get to say thank you to a few people. We want to thank Alfred's Catering for our delicious meal. Thank you. We would like to thank the ladies of the Assistance League who graciously served your meals today. Special thank you to the photographer, Oliver Smith, our videographer, the incomparable Sydney Decker at the back. This again will be on YouTube. Our MC, Gene Davenport. And please, one final round of applause. Put your hands in the air. If you were on the 60th Planning Committee, this is half of their task. So they've got one more big celebration to come in December, but a big round of applause and thanks for their hard work. So if you would please join me in the things we think, say, and do. First, Second. Third. Fourth. And number 5, we are adjourned.